Hello.
Hello. Another week.
Yeah, I'm finally recording again. Been a while.
Yes.
Oh, do I still
For
have nights
once,
on? Hold on.
the 50-50 coin flip has chosen.
Yeah, we coin flip whoever gets to go.
Yeah. And over the last 3 weeks, it has been me.
Yeah.
So technically, if we just take the last 4 weeks, the coin flip was 75 to 25.
If only my fear and hunger coin flips were that consistent.
Consistently shit.
No, just consistent, so that I could always pick the same thing and be assured that it will work.
Well, if you know it's always going to be that side.
Yeah, then I can
Yeah.
always choose that side.
Or not, depending on if you.
In fear and hunger, you always want to win.
It depends. It all depends on the results.
But, right.
However, news. We
Yeah.
have a bunch of news to talk about.
Yes,
A bunch
we
of news
do.
involving presidents and trains.
And taters.
Yes.
Apparently. Should we start with that one? Because it's dumb.
Yes, let's start
So,
with the glorious
the-
potato.
The Netherlands, you know, the potato country, has a potato
Isn't it
problem.
Ireland?
No, they don't have them.
Oh yeah.
No, but apparently the situation's kind of strange, from what I understood it. We have too many potatoes, which means we are about to not have enough potatoes because they're just sitting somewhere rotting. And yeah, if we don't
We're not
eat
eating
them,
enough fries.
yeah, exactly. How many kilos was it? It was like 5. I think 5. How much was it? I think 5 million kilos, if I remember correctly. Like in total.
Wait, that's 5,000 tons.
I might be wrong. It might have been 500k, but I think it was.
Ah,
Oh hey,
we have.
hello. You're just in time. We just started.
We just started talking about potatoes.
Yeah, we have a potato problem apparently.
Why?
So we have too many potatoes, because we're apparently not eating enough of them, which means they are rotting, which means we are about to not have any potatoes.
Which means fries are gonna get expensive.
Because they weren't already.
Yeah, fair point.
So, Yoran, now's the time. Make the cheese soup.
Yes, make the good cheese soup.
Right.
I feel like we should put the recipe in the description.
Ah yes, we'll put a Dutch recipe in Dutch.
You can always translate.
I guess so.
If that means that we can share the wonders of the cheese soup.
Yeah, fair. It really is the... Is it 7th world wonder? It's 7th, right?
No.
8th?
Sorry, but no.
How many... What's the saying again?
I think we already have 7.
So it's the 8th.
I think so.
But maybe it's the secret 7th. And the 7th is actually the 8th.
So instead of counting normally, you're like, oh, wait, maybe this was the 7th one.
Yeah. That's just a theory. But actually,
Hey,
I don't know if this is a dumb question. What are the others? What are the 7 ones?
I don't know. Considering I don't really You know, I just haven't
You
watched
don't
enough
really.
National
Yes,
Geographic over
absolutely.
the last time.
What?
You don't really.
Over the last
Absolutely.
years.
What are the
Like,
the
if you watch
seven?
National Geographic, you would know these things.
What are the 7 wonders?
The first fry, the second fry, the third fry, the fourth fry, the fifth fry, the sixth fry,
Cheese
and we
soup.
can't forget the seventh fry. And the eighth one can be Friday.
What?
Right.
This episode's already gone off the rails.
Level has gone up since last time I see.
But seriously, what are the 7 wonders?
Giza,
Let me-
Eiffel Tower, I think.
Wait,
Chinese
wonders, I
are
Wall.
they
think-
just
let me
big
look it up.
structures?
Mostly,
have the
yes.
Great
Well,
Wall of China.
except for us, we just flat. That's
No, we have the Great
yeah.
Wall of China. We have Christ the
Yes.
Redeemer. We have a temple in Mexico. We have a building in Jordan. We have Machu Picchu. We have the Roman Colosseum. We have the Taj Mahal. So they're basically
Oh.
just 7 big
Wait,
structures.
no pyramids?
Apparently not.
Yeah, I think
Apparently
the
the
pyramid
pyramids were-
should also be one.
The my worldview has just shattered.
Are the
Well-
pyramids not one then? That feels weird because I think that's still the biggest structure outside of like the gigantic tower in Dubai, right?
The Burj Khalifa,
Yeah.
which has somewhat been targeted by drones as well.
Hmm.
They really scaled things down, actually. They went from planes to drones.
No, it does include. Oh, the 7 wonders of the ancient world. I guess that's another 7 wonders.
So there's 14 now.
Ah, how
No,
convenient.
People were just mad at what
Or
wasn't in
simply
the actual
7
one, so
wonders.
they simply said, you know what, we're gonna make our own list.
So there's
Pyramid of
ancient-
Giza, Colossus of Rhodes, the Lighthouse of Alexandria, Melus. How do you pronounce this? Mausoleum at Halicarnassus? I can't pronounce this. It's a tomb. Temple of Artemis, statue of Zeus at Olympia, hanging gardens of Babylon.
Hmm.
But these are,
And that's just the ancient ones.
yeah, these are the ancient wonders of the world, which I will say for ancient wonders of the world, heavily focus on Greece only.
Probably because they made big stuff.
I guess they're just a fan of big buildings.
Yeah, but we also have like the Aztec temples, right?
Yeah.
Those are pretty noteworthy.
Are they? I don't know how big those actually are. I never really thought about that.
I don't know. I know one of them create like if you clap, it has like a certain sound it produces or a certain reflection at least. I don't know exactly what it was.
Like they hired actual sound engineers to do it. Which it probably just had somebody that was like, yeah, if you clap in a certain way and you just do some weird math, it works.
I don't know exactly how they did it. I don't think if we know how they did it.
No, we know how to do it now, but
I don't know.
that's about it.
We probably understand what's happening, but I don't know if we know how they did it.
We don't know how they did it, but we can with modern technology.
Hold on, let me look it up
aliens.
though before we just.
Jim, that's the History Channel, which really fell off.
I mean,
It started with actual history, like World War II, and then I think, then it was just, you know, all of a sudden you had this series where there was a treasure on an island, which they just, you had multiple seasons of, we almost found it.
so Okay, but was Long John Silver involved in that one?
I don't know. All I know is it was on a swampy island, and they just kept almost finding the thing. It was the biggest cliffhanger series there is.
Have you ever seen the Treasure Island movies that were like? I don't know if these were Dutch movies or not, because I watched them when I was like, we watched them in school when I was like 11 or something. So I don't know if they were Dutch or just dubbed, and we watched them in Dutch. But there was like, there were like 3 movies, like Treasure Island, and it had nothing to do with the original Treasure Island story, if I remember correctly.
Like that's the older I get, the more annoyed I get by Dutch dubbed.
Same.
Movies. Especially. And
So,
this is already annoying as a kid.
Apparently, if you clap in front of said temple, it gives a chirp of a bird back.
Okay.
Somehow.
I assume it has something to do with like one of their gods.
He does not clarify. He just shows the clapping thing in this video. But it is a thing.
No, but those movies, they were like... I don't remember much, especially from the first one. But I remember the second one was basically about the Loch Ness monster, but... well, not in Loch Ness. And then the third one just had a full-on alien.
Well, considering I have no idea what you were watching at that time.
And pirates, I think.
I can with confidence say that I have no idea what you're talking
Hold
about
on,
here.
I'm gonna see if I can find them.
Here's the one recording. Immediately has to look something up.
Don't worry about it. Okay, no, that's not the one I'm talking about.
This is already going great. This thing is derailed quicker than trains in Indonesia, which I'll get to that once we're done with this subject, because it is a whole story full of tragedy. And somehow stupidity.
The Slag om Schat Island.
Stupidity on an incredible scale.
Wait, this is the one! Wait, I did find it! It is this one! Okay, so no, it's not Dutch. It's called Treasure Island Kids, The Battle for Treasure Island.
So it's they basically made a spin-off series.
And there's, yeah, and then so I don't remember really anything from the first one. It's from 2006. But I remember the third one has just this random little alien.
Almost as old as you guys.
Hold on. Treasure Island Kids.
It's still quite
this is it.
It's still quite concerning to me that I'm the oldest one here and I'm the most immature.
Yeah, like that. There you have like the Loch Ness monster. Oh, that looks like shit.
Yeah. Jim, if you think 2006 movie with CGI, don't think of good quality CGI.
I genuinely don't recall what happens in this first one. Apparently there's pirates in the first movie, which I guess makes sense. And here you have the one with the alien. There.
Like,
that's the alien right there. Yeah. Yeah, that little shit right there, little hippo dude.
That's
Oh
a
yeah, and
slight
also
concern for your.
these kids just build a gigantic drill.
It's only, and I'm only slightly concerned for your upbringing, for your
No,
education.
we watched this at school, I think. But one of
Yeah,
my
if you watch it at school,
classmates had them on DVD, so he like took them. That was the thing.
so it was one of those nights where you could bring your own movie. Around those days.
No, it was just like over the week. It was just like during breaks, like during lunch.
You're just eating your bread.
Yeah.
You were eating the lunch your mom made.
Yeah. Maybe I'm confusing the first and third movie. Maybe the pirates were not in the third movie. I don't remember. I remember them stopping the pirates by shoving a potato into the exhaust of a boat.
So we've come full circle.
Yeah, exactly.
Back to potatoes.
Exactly, which means we can move on to the next subject.
Yes. Trains.
Okay.
The next subject.
Why?
Trains. Because in Indonesia, a train incident happened between first a train and a taxi. So you know that's an accident already. So another train waited on on a train station. You know, just as a train does. And apparently that was an unusual place to stop, because another train, a women's only train, you know, to prevent men from not keeping their hands to themselves.
There's a women only train? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that crashed into the back of the train that was waiting at the station, causing 14 women to die.
Women behind the wheel, huh?
Oh, so I did actually question, and I'm not sure if the train driver was actually a female or not.
I am sorry. My condolences to the
Yeah.
I'm making this
the
work.
thing
Can we
is-
move on?
The thing that I'm questioning the most is the driver of the train also a woman, or is it a man? Like, it would kind of be ineffective to have a women's only train that is operated by men.
I guess.
Because then you're not preventing anything. You're just making it worse. Because now you can just halt the entire train and nobody can get out. Yep. At work, it was really like I was only with one colleague for a half of the day. The other half of the day I was just alone in the office. And when the news popped up, we were both like, what the fuck? How? And especially when I read the news article about how stopping at a train station is an unusual place to stop. You know, just like the train that stopped at the train station was waiting because they couldn't go further, else they would just reach the accident. And I have actually seen a bit of video of the accident, which was it was on Reddit. It was marked as a spoiler, and when I clicked on it, it said in the description of the video, "Not safe for life." Not just not safe for work. No. That's too tame. It's not safe for life.
I mean,
Because it did
Makes sense.
show.
I guess.
It did just show the trains that collided with each other. And what made it not safe for life was, of course, this was right after the accident, so no cleanup had happened yet. leaving everything visible.
That does not sound very happy.
No.
No, Jewel, I think it's inappropriate that you're joking about all this.
That's rich coming from you.
Well, look at my character. Maybe I am rich.
Well, knowing you, you are sort of rich.
I am... No.
Compared to some people I know, you are.
You earn more than me.
That is correct, though, and I'm probably
Some people
spending
you
a bit
know,
more
like
than you.
myself.
I know people that...
Well, you should be
literally-
working, Joanna.
Yes.
What?
How dare you pursue higher dreams of education?
Well, considering if you think about it,
Well,
those are slowly
I
starting
don't
to
necessarily
become more
care about the
obsolete.
higher education. I care about the stuff I learned there.
So you care about the education?
Sure.
And also, don't forget the money you get from the government.
I'm not.
Dude, I'm losing money every month. What do you mean money from the government?
I forgot,
You're
higher
not there.
education doesn't...
I'm not there for the
Cover all your
education.
school
Okay, so
costs.
why are you there then? To learn things.
Also, pursuing higher education is slowly becoming more and more obsolete.
I don't
the
think in
knowledge is-
engineering it will.
No.
Not in engineering, but in other sectors, it is just like,
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Also, that's something weird that I've noticed. If you don't have a job, you get like no responses on LinkedIn, like nothing. You know, you really have to struggle to find your first job. And then once you have a job, all of a sudden, like once a month, I get a message on LinkedIn asking, hey, we have a position. Do you want to fill that position? And it confuses me. Instead of going after the ones that don't have work yet, that are available to work, you're trying to basically steal people from other companies.
Well, yes.
And that might be because they've already proven themselves to be reliable because they work somewhere. But to me, that's still bullshit. Because I've seen both sides of the job, like on through memes, of course, and Reddit. You do see a lot about
Yes, the most
yeah, that plays with the
reliable
most
of all.
Yeah, with a lot of employed people. Yeah, sure. That platform. Well, you do have r/recruiting hell, which is actually just full of stories of not only people looking for jobs, but recruiters as well, that are basically explaining on, well, it's mainly US, but it's basically like you get like 300 applicants and you have to choose one. So the recruiters are basically understaffed and have too many people to get through, which leads to ghosting and other things which people hate, as well as people trying to find a job not really being able to because, well, they're getting ghosted and there's always a better person, simply because too many people are pretty much applying to the same job. So if you're in the Netherlands, the real good way to start your career and actually get working is carrièrebeurs, a specific event for around a career. Like from the start of a career, you know, it's just a bunch of companies that are just there to, you know, get people, show people what they're doing. And I went there, even though I just got a job. I've just been working for half a year. And it really got me thinking, like, there might be better stuff out there. And you get to talk to the companies directly, pretty much. There are a couple of representatives from each company, of course. They're just standing there and you just walk up to them like, could you tell me something about your company? And then they tell you something. They ask a couple questions like, are you looking for work, for an internship? It's really good for networking. It's a shame it just happened, so you gotta have to wait
You
for
are
next
very
year.
consistent with this, Shul.
Yeah.
With what?
Because when you were looking for a job, your message was very, well, I'll say slightly different.
Yeah. The message is it's very difficult to get one. And it still is, but once you
Well,
have a job, everything
I
suddenly
mean, you
becomes
figured it
easier
out. You
because
just gotta have a job.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's not that
That's the
hard.
trick. The trick to finding a job is having a
I
job.
still don't know how it was that difficult for you to get a job. I'm gonna be honest.
Well, I didn't really call.
Oh
we all-
yeah,
Yeah, that's the
no,
first problem. We know.
Oh yeah. We actually we do know why it was so difficult to find a job, Jim.
Yeah, maybe we do. Yeah.
Because I just didn't call. Yes. But also, companies should still just respond to their fucking emails.
That seems.
There's
I don't know if that's appropriate to do in the workplace.
That seems
They have to
a
respond
bit
to their
too
email.
reasonable.
Yeah, it also doesn't sound appropriate to even have those emails in a working environment.
Yeah, that implies you're understaffed.
What?
that implies you're not paying your staff enough.
I think we're on about different things.
Well, if you have
We're talking about fucking emails here.
that to get people to work there, that implies you're understaffed.
Yeah, like if I'm sending if I'm sending out an email to a company asking for a position that they have available, or even better, I apply for a job through their website. Because often companies have their own website and you can apply for jobs on the website directly, so you basically cut out any other middleman or any company in between. You just straight up go to the company like, hey, can I start at a company? And I had that one as well, but at the same time I had a recruitment agency that I had on the phone earlier that day, and right when I was gonna have like a talk with the HR of the company I was potentially going to be working at, explain the situation, explain that I wanted to give the recruitment agency a plan, just or at least a chance to give something that I can compare to, so I can make a comparison, because it's always nice when you're applying for a job to be able to compare. Otherwise you might apply for a position which isn't good at all and can prevent a whole lot of headache if you just can't compare. I said like next week, it was on a Wednesday, like early next week, I'm gonna call you, or I'm gonna come with a decision. And halfway I was like, I'm gonna work at the company I was just at, and right before I wanted to make that decision, they rejected me through email. Didn't even have the balls to call.
Rejection deals no damage. Well, I beg to fucking differ.
Yes. And not just with companies.
That's a little Elden Ring reference right there.
Yeah, but it's like if you're saying, well, I'm gonna be back next week, I'm gonna come to you early, like at the beginning of next week, with a definitive answer, and that afternoon they call you saying that, yeah, no, you might have dodged a bullet there.
Maybe.
Perhaps.
If HR is... That's also where my sort of hate for HR comes from. because it's HR. What are they doing? Basically nothing apart from some company stuff.
Really? People at a company work at the company?
They're like,
Shit,
can you
I
give
didn't
me
see
an
that
accurate
one
job?
coming.
Can you give me an accurate job description of what HR actually does?
HR is there to make sure the people are happy and are managed socially. Plus,
Yeah, they
if there's
basically.
if there is an instance of something needs to be arranged, or working conditions are bad, or anything of the sorts, then you go to HR to complain, so they can investigate and make the according changes if possible.
Yeah.
You're hired.
No, no, please don't. I don't want to be HR.
Yeah, the thing is that we've had
Did,
earlier
did,
this
did you
year,
hear that
which
keyword in there, Jim? Socially managing people. That's a problem.
like a thing I've complained about is like a while ago, that we used to have a little, some food for like a bit of cake for the people that had their birthday that month. We used to have that. Then all of a sudden, on January this year, it just got scrapped for. And afterwards saying, yeah, the money ran out. There was no warning, nothing. All of a sudden, they were like, yeah, you're not getting some cake each month or some sausage rolls. It really was just, and nothing was explained. So there was very bad communications. It was just nothing was really said. It was just, yeah, you're not getting it anymore. So that caused the whole shit show to unfold because nobody was happy. It was a PR. It was an internal nightmare.
It was a PR disaster.
Internally, yes, and it
Fair
really
enough.
doesn't, make the company feel welcome or, stable. It just makes
Why do you want a stable workplace anyway?
because that is how you keep people.
I don't know, man. That seems awfully reasonable.
Yeah, our company doesn't really do that. You know, we the thing is, which is also why I went and did some networking. From what I've heard, of company, all of my colleagues are just saying, yeah, the pay isn't that good.
Didn't we have
So
like
either that's correct, or your colleagues are just like, shit, he's good at this.
didn't we
You
have
gotta
like
get rid of him.
didn't we have like Trump stuff to talk about? Because I feel like we've talked about your job so many times at this point.
Yeah, fair
Yes,
enough.
yes. Well, luckily
Jim,
he
do you have
doesn't
anything
like
about
continue complaining about one
Jim? Do
subject.
you have
But
anything about your job? Do you have any more of that client that wants to defy physics?
No, we haven't heard from him at all. We do have clients that keep on about a deadline, but then every time I'm like, hey, I'm working on this. Can you send me this so I can actually do it? And then it takes them like 2 weeks to send it. So,
the average.
don't know what deadline they want to make, but it's not happening at this rate.
Nice.
Yep. No, but you
Yeah.
mentioned something about Trump. What did he do? Did he cast himself as doctor again?
No, he was having a some dinner with the or with like a part of the big part of the government, and then a shooter arrived. He ran
Oh!
past Secret Service, who just arrested him, didn't shoot
Yeah.
him immediately, which would be, I think, normal for someone that is armed and is running towards the president.
This is what Quinton
In
was
any other
talking about, isn't it?
In any other case, you want them stopped immediately, but no, they just arrested him. Took his shirt off, apparently. Apparently, that's mandatory.
Mhm.
And
I mean, if you're getting arrested, you might as well do it. Like, you know, you're not looking sexy, then what are you doing?
I guess. And he had a manifesto with him calling that he will not live under a rapist predator, and Trump immediately went defensive.
What do you say?
That he wasn't a pedophile or rapist.
Why does he even respond? I feel like the best thing you could do in that situation is to just shut the fuck up.
The best thing you could do is just not be one and not go to an island.
Is anything confirmed from that? Because last I heard from that, it was like he was mentioned, but there's no like evidence that he actually did something.
They don't need evidence
whole-
if he did something.
Have you forgotten the whole Bubba thing?
The what?
Where he, there were
The what
rumors going
now?
around from some emails that he had that Donald Trump orally pleasured Bill Clinton.
Yeah, it still seems unlikely.
Yeah.
Still seems unlikely, but from the emails that come from that were declassified, that like were made public. Yeah, shit's fucked up.
Still seems highly unlikely though.
Yes.
Well, in the emails, the ages go as low as 9-year-olds, so
Again, seems unlikely.
seems unlikely, but for the multiple women that came forward afterwards, and you know, a lot of people saying that it happened.
Yeah.
You were then very likely to actually believe it happened.
So, this is a tricky situation because, like, obviously, I'm not really in favor of the guy, but, I do think that because of the reputation he kind of has, it is very easy to say, you know, that, oh, yeah, he did it too. But at the end of the day, if we don't have evidence for it, you know, innocent till proven guilty.
But his name was mentioned a lot within the files.
Yes, but the thing with Epstein is that he was like an important business guy.
And Trump is the one to do business, yes.
So I highly doubt that every name that comes up in those files was actually, you know, participating in all the fucked up shit.
Yeah, but the fact that
Some of them definitely did. Like,
the fact that he denied even knowing him, even though there are pictures of
okay,
him.
yeah, that is suspicious. Yeah, okay.
Like, you're saying you never knew the guy, and in the meantime, there are images going around. Also, Trump's wife Melania also denied knowing him. Well,
Okay.
she didn't deny knowing him. She denied that she knew what he was doing.
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
Like, I didn't know him. I just didn't know he had his whole island thing going on.
again, so what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like anybody is. There's not like anything's going to actually happen.
That as well.
Well, not until his term is over, at least.
Doesn't he? How long do you have immunity after if you're no longer president?
I don't think so.
So that means it's just a matter of time before he gets royally screwed over by
Probably.
everybody.
Probably.
I think that's unlikely, but hey.
Well, he currently still has presidential immunity, but if he's no longer president, then he does no longer have that immunity, meaning he can actually be processed through the judiciary system there, which, with his amount of money, it's highly unlikely that it will actually do anything.
Yeah.
Considering bribery exists.
No, we'll just pull in. We'll pull in what we did to Al Capone and just switch out the jury at the last second.
I guess so. Like that would pretty much be the only option. It has to be a total surprise to him, otherwise he just.
I'm
Gets
sure.
to him
I'm
as
sure
well.
he hasn't watched Untouchable. It's fine.
Also, the fact that they managed to get Al Capone on tax evasion
Yeah, I know.
is still ridiculous to me. Like, one of the biggest mafia bosses in existence, if not the biggest, just doesn't get caught doing any of the crimes he did. No tax evasion.
Yeah, no, that was just a system to
Yeah.
get him jailed. It wasn't an actual.
Yeah, because after that they figured all this other stuff out.
I feel like we suspect him of doing all these things, but we don't really know for sure. We just have to somehow get him arrested in order to really look into it. Like just having to get him on something, and then finally getting him on taxes. Which makes me really glad we live in the Netherlands, where
Where there is virtually no tax.
No, there is still a bunch of tax, but good question for you two.
Not for outsiders.
Have you done your taxes yet?
I've not
What?
received the letter yet.
You have to do it before the 1st of May.
Well, I've not received anything.
Neither have I. I just went to the website.
You're not really getting a letter for it unless
you
you're like
do.
late.
You get the blue envelope thing being like, hey, you gotta do your shit.
You might as well just do your shit then, though.
Yes.
A bookkeeper hasn't visited yet either, and he also keeps an eye on it, so...
Who?
Our bookkeeper.
Yeah,
Oh.
apparently they have a specific person that does their taxes.
Yeah, it's really useful because occasionally he just randomly visits like, hey, you can do this for tax evasion. Pretty
Well,
much.
Wait. That sounds
It's the
very
legal
legal.
version
Oh
of
yeah,
that.
yeah, like a
Basically just,
loophole or like,
like, I found a loophole, do this.
yeah.
But Jim, I would just file it after the episode because it is just like a 5-minute thing. Like
It took me a
all you have
bit
to do is
more
just-
than 5 minutes, but
10 minutes then. But it's just like, it's just filling in the basic things like, are you married? Do you have a house? Do
So,
you have investments? Which is no, no,
Yeah.
and no.
But don't you need to receive the letter thing first?
No, you can just do your
No.
taxes. I did
Okay.
mine like a month ago because I wanted to be early.
I did mine like last week.
Oh.
And if you do it wrong, you get a letter saying
Fuck you.
you owe us a certain amount or stuff like that. And if you do it really badly, then you might get a visit from the police saying, "The fuck you doing?"
I have swords. I'll be fine.
Yeah, that's a great way to get arrested.
Yeah, I was about to say that sounds like a plan.
I can't get arrested if I beat them to it.
Huh?
You're gonna arrest yourself?
No.
You're gonna be.
No.
I'm very
I'll
confused.
become a sovereign citizen and arrest them.
You're gonna make your own
This sounds like a
country?
great plan, Jim. This sounds like a
Exactly.
great plan.
I saw it on television.
You're just gonna
Did you
make, like,
now?
Yeah.
your own country just so you can evade the police?
This was literally a thing where, like, you know, the sovereign says, like, what do you call it? Like, he hadn't paid his taxes because, you know, sovereign citizen. And so, you know, eventually someone visits you to come to do that. And this guy was like, no, I'm arresting you. Like, I'm doing a citizen arrest, I think he called it. But, you know, in Dutch. But, like, which is just, I don't know.
It sounds dumb and potentially a lot of legal trouble.
Oh yeah, no, he was arrested.
Wonder why.
Yeah.
Here's my thing also with it though, because his argument was like, well, I'm sovereign, so you believe you're out of the government stuff. Which, okay, I can see that. But you're using your toilet.
Yeah, is that plumbed
You're
into the sewer
using
system?
electricity.
Is that connected to the electrical grid?
So, which means you're using systems that you should pay for.
Yeah, otherwise you have to make a deal with energy companies to, you know, still allow the use of it. Or, you know, you have to go to the government to make a deal with them so you can use the water.
I don't know. I like to watch like those body cam videos, which of course usually is in America. Specifically, they're almost always in like Florida or in Ohio, I think. Because apparently it's like easier to get body cam footage there. But a couple of them have been like sovereign citizens, and their arguments are just so fucking funny.
They often have no idea what they're talking about. They think it's just a free
They'll be like,
pass to be above the
you
law.
know, because they're always like driving with a car without a license plate. They don't have a license because they don't think they need one. And so, you know, the police comes in and is like, hey, you don't have a plate. You don't have a valid shit. And they're like, well, but I'm not driving, I'm traveling.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You've seen that?
I've seen it a single time, yeah. It's just...
But they always have stuff like that. They always have something similar. Like one of them was like, "I'm not a corporation, so that doesn't apply to me." I don't know, man.
They often just think the law doesn't apply to them specifically, and then it just results in often them getting aggressive.
The thing with it though is it is kind of a sad thing, because usually to become a sovereign citizen, right, like in quotation marks, they usually they think you can learn that. You know, they do like a course for it, and then they get a piece of paper that tells them, hey, you're sovereign, which is of course a scam, and it costs money, like quite a lot of it. And usually these are people that think that it will benefit them in the long term, because usually it's people that already don't have a lot of money, and they're like, oh, if I don't have to pay taxes, then that helps, you know, that helps with my poverty problem. And it doesn't.
No. Because you'll just get caught for not doing your taxes.
Yeah.
In the US, the IRS doesn't care. They just want your money. It's also weird how the US basically makes you calculate all your taxes like on your own, or you have to get a. You have things like.
But I thought
which,
we had to do that as well, though.
What?
Well, you have. The thing is, you get like a yearly thing from either from the company you work for, which gives you like your payment stuff and everything. And when you file your income tax for the year, you basically grab that with you, or your bank statements from what has come in. You just check. Like, is it this? Is it that? Money. And then you just say, yeah, that's what I've earned.
Yeah, but there's no like box 3, box 1 we have to go through anymore.
Wait.
No, it's
Because
just
I had that
like,
stuff at school,
There
but
isn't?
yeah, you had it
No.
at school to teach you that those boxes exist.
Oh, like that,
And
yeah.
if you earn a
Okay.
certain
no,
amount
at the
of
time
money,
everybody just had to do that, I believe.
yeah, but right now it's just there's still some stuff with boxes from what I remember, but it's mainly regarding investments and property ownership. Something that us that are just starting to work or students will probably never touch because we won't have the money for it. Especially the property one. We will likely never own property
Why?
because the
Wh-
economy is screwed.
Why my sketch not working?
We're also going to get a CPU shortage, by the way.
Yes.
I
So
already
if you
have.
want to build a PC, you should do it now.
I don't have. I already have a CPU.
Yeah, same. But it isn't here just yet. But AMD and Intel have announced that they're going to focus more on server chips than consumer chips. So yeah, I should really get to work on that old car, shouldn't I? Considering that car is
Random,
basically immune
but
from
okay.
technology. Like, good luck
Why?
trying to do anything software related on a car that
What
only
the-
has electrical systems for the lights and the horn and the starter to get the engine going. Good luck doing anything with computers. That would actually be hilarious to let some to go to like a modern garage, tell them like, yo, can you tune this, or can you see what's wrong with it? There's probably going to be some
Why?
poor intern who's going to grab his laptop, sit in the driver's seat, and look for the OBD2 port, so they can read out all the codes from the car and see
What
what's
is
wrong with it.
wrong with this sketch?
Many
Sorry.
things. Like, to me, it just seems like it might sound very boomer of me once again to say that it's funny to see how newer generations are struggling with old technology. But then again, it's really worrying to think that young children are trying to swipe a book.
They do?
Jim, the newest generation in schools, apparently, if you go to the US, they are fucked. Like, they don't really, like, their entire system's broken,
Brother,
especially with the schools.
I've started reading more because I'm not reading enough. The fuck you mean? People are swiping, but now I can only imagine. You know that scene in Wall-E when the captain sees a book for the first time in his life, and he asks the computer, like, you know, like he's like listening to it and shit. He's like, what do I do with this? And the computer shows him to open it. And he's just like flabbergasted as the genius of being able to flip a page.
Well, the thing is, newest generation, like the children that are just going to school. Well, first of all, we're still somewhat within the, the entire pandemic, which was really bad for children because they couldn't go outside and just play. They were forced to sit inside with a screen in front because the parents had to work. So they basically grew up with screens. They don't really know a book because they haven't unless the parents actually took time and care.
Caring for your child? What the fuck are you saying?
Take care of their children, which is apparently rare. But that's just
rightfully so. Like, what the fuck, man?
If you take care of your children properly, as one should.
Yeah.
Jim is ready to become a parent. Clearly,
exactly. I am. I'll have a
You are?
child, and we'll
Jim, you will be the absent father.
we'll play Bloodborne together.
But that's the thing, right? A lot of people have children when they clearly shouldn't have children.
I'll have him play Fear and Hunger at age 3.
The appropriate stuff only.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll read Berserk together.
Just give the...
See,
well, Jim,
I'm a good parent. I teach him to read.
All you have to do, Jim, is give the kid unlimited
Right,
access,
yes.
and their brain will be ruined for the rest of their life.
Oh, listen, you know, I hear worry.
Yes.
You wonder why?
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
You understand perfectly.
You're supposed to break the cycle of trauma and not continue it.
But
you were supposed to bring balance to the drama, not join in. Wait, what?
Berserk will teach them, it will teach them to move on, to never give up, and to aspire to dreams.
And to rape Casca, I guess.
And to
wait.
love. No.
Oh.
No, you took the wrong message out of that show.
Well, that's the thing.
To be fair, that show did end at a terrible spot.
Yeah, that's the last thing that happens.
Yeah.
What do you want
yeah,
to take from it?
You should read. You should read the rest.
Children can do the same thing.
I don't think I'll read it, Jim.
So
but you miss the genuine romance.
I don't think we're watching it for the romance, to be fair.
That's not a joke. The romance in Berserk is genuinely beautiful. But that is also kind of because of, because of what they went through. Actually, you've seen a little bit of the romance.
Yeah, I have.
It's just that Griffith kind of threw a wrench in it in the end.
We should have...
Kinda.
Yeah, a little bit.
What do you mean, kinda?
Man's got a dream.
I don't know if that still qualifies as a dream.
It was his dream.
To do that to Casca,
Well, no,
I doubt
no,
it.
no. I would argue that was not necessarily part of his dream, but to, you know, to... I guess the show didn't end on him achieving his dream at all. But, you know, he does say, I'll be a king.
Why the... I don't understand why this sketch breaks.
Should we move on to the next subject?
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm gonna check the
I don't know.
news app to see.
I don't know if there really is a next subject.
King's Day.
Oh, right, king, yeah. Just look up
That happened.
Just look up, John Feely Koning in the Dag. That'll tell you everything.
It's basically, well, the thing is, what I've noticed and what is sad is that kind of the spirit has been ruined by people selling shit.
That was always... What?
That was always
That
the
is
thing.
what King's Day is! What are you talking about?
Let me explain. Like 5 to 10 years ago, it used to just be people selling their old shit that had been in the attic for a while. And, you know, they were just like, yeah, we want to get rid of this. So, you know, we're going to sell it on King's Day and, you know, be done with it. You know, we might get a couple bucks out of it and it'll be fine. But these days, it's more of a... It's more just specifically for the for making money, not getting rid of old shit. So
Yeah, you know how much money I actually made on King's Day?
well, you can make a lot of money, but
Yeah, I would
It's
just sit
often
there.
like you do
I
see-
would just sit there with my guitar, and that made a shitload.
yeah, but you do have a lot more people that basically just buy shit specifically to sell it.
Well, yeah, that's called being a business person.
Yeah, but on King's Day, that just ruins the fun for the people that actually are there to sell.
Does it?
We're actually just there to... Because it's also the first year that I don't live in the center of a city, so it is sort of a... Like, usually we just walk to the end of the street and boom.
I mean,
We could
maybe
sell
it's,
our stuff.
maybe it's just that I'm used to the French markets, which do that too. Like a lot.
It's just that it used to be a lot nicer, now it's just a lot more... Also, there are a lot more Pokemon cards.
Really?
Yeah. A lot more. And that's all because, well, their worth is now well known.
I guess so, yeah.
So a lot of people are like, yeah, I know what it's worth, so I'm gonna sell it.
I mean, that's fair enough, though.
It is fair enough, it's just slightly irritating if, like, half the...
Why is everything irritating, Jules?
Yeah.
I don't know,
Why are you so
but it's just
negative?
like if half the people are just selling Pokemon
You misplaced that door,
cards.
Jim.
What?
A journal file cannot be created.
What do you mean, did I misplace the door?
No, never mind.
So, yeah. King's Day used to be a lot more fun. Could also be because I was younger. I'm really gonna turn into a grumpy old man, aren't I?
You
At
kinda
this rate.
already are, like,
Yeah.
I hate to tell you.
Yeah. All I'm missing is just like a cadence just saying, get off my lawn. If
Wait,
I
what
had
is-
one.
What is happening right now?
Yeah, so
Anyway.
apparently we're gonna need a gigantic lawn because Yoram wants to throw slings.
Yeah. Good luck getting... Well, first he has to make money. That's the first thing.
Getting a sling is not for the... Okay, yeah, actually, yeah, you're right.
For the land.
Yeah.
Ooh, Google and the Pentagon apparently made an AI deal.
Okay, what does that mean?
Apparently, Google's AI models can be used for secret military operations. Yeah.
Okay.
Not
So-
surprising.
Gemini. So the US Army is now going to use Gemini.
Oh, wait. That is a terrible idea.
Either it's going to be incredibly
Or-
effective, or it's going to be
I mean,
just fucking up every single time.
look, it's a terrible idea with any AI. But Gemini out of all of them?
It's Google.
Gemini? Gemini.
Gemini, whatever. I'm used to seeing Gemini
Also-
cricket, okay?
It happened multiple times now. A car hit multiple cars hit multiple buildings.
What?
Oh, apparently this house has been hit before by a car because apparently the intersection nearby is just dangerous. Yeah. Also, Ireland is going back to its
What the-
roots, or at least Northern Ireland is going back to its
So
roots.
they're gonna get more potatoes, or attempt more potatoes again.
No.
They can borrow some of ours.
The new IRA claimed responsibility for a car bomb.
Oh. Okay.
And history goes
What
full
the-
circle once again.
What? Huh? I have never seen a cat program break this badly.
What else do we have?
Apparently
Whatever,
SolidWorks not working, that's what we have.
Or talk about the train accident. Yeah. Oh yeah, apparently boats or cargo ships have discovered that wind power is efficient.
Wow.
Yeah, we're basically going to a modern version of sailing.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. I mean, if it makes shipping per boat cheaper and more environmentally friendly, then that's good, because ships are basically the way to cover the ocean with bulk cargo. We can build much larger ships than planes,
Okay. So,
and those ships can carry a lot more cargo, and that means more money for companies.
so a couple of years ago, we went somewhere by boat with the whole family, and it was like a boat
Yeah.
that it had both an engine and a sail, right? Like it was boat. And you know the way there, we had to use the engine because the wind came from that direction, so we could go against it. But I guess the captain, the owner of the ship, like the ferry person. How do I describe this? Whatever.
I think you just described him.
You know what I mean. There's the person steering the ship.
That would be the captain, yes.
Not necessarily, but
Or the helmsman.
yeah, it was her boat. And she asked like everybody, because it wasn't just our family on the boat, right? Or there were like a couple others. And she basically asked like everybody like, do you wanna steer? But the thing is, I don't like being on a boat because I get seasick. And I actually get seasick pretty quickly. So, you know, so she had me too, and I was like, no, I didn't feel great. And then on the way back, we were gonna actually sail because, you know, now we were going with the wind. And so she asked people to like help raise the sails and all that. But, you know, I didn't feel great, so I didn't feel like helping out. And she was like, oh, you can steer the ship if you help out. And I was just like, lady, if I didn't care about steering the ship before, why would I care now?
Yeah. Like, being seasick just sucks.
Yes.
Especially, like, speaking from experience.
And I will
having
say...
to throw up because a boat is rocking.
I will say, doing it with a sail does not help because the whole boat was, like, vertical. Yeah, it was, like,
yeah, the boat
leaning sideways.
Yeah. If you're not prepared for that, then it can be an unpleasant surprise.
I wouldn't say it was a surprise, but I didn't help.
No. Like, that's what I at least suffer from. If I'm inside of a boat that is rocking, then I get nauseous and throw up. If I'm outside and the boat is rocking, nothing bad happens. If the boat is still and I'm inside, nothing happens. It's just in a specific scenario that there is high wind and I'm inside the boat. There's a scenario where I have to keep a bag nearby.
Anyway.
It's a great thing to find out when you're 10 years old. And on a boat for 15 hours. Meaning you can't easily get off. That was not a fun experience, to say the least. But anyway, do we have more news?
Sounds pretty funny.
Throwing up 4 times in 15 hours is not fun.
No. At least not for you, it's not fun, no.
Also, that boat was entirely carpet floors.
So?
A boat with carpeted floors.
Yeah?
What were they thinking?
The ship to England, actually, no, that one didn't.
It was Newcastle. Yeah. Boat to Newcastle.
Does that boat have carpet floor? I don't remember. Yes. But then again...
I don't understand.
But then again...
It's a boat.
My trip on that boat was just me in bed being miserable, so...
Yeah, mine generally consists of if the seas are calm, then I can just go around, you know? I can just walk, I can do stuff. But if it's rocking, I either have to be outside or in the cabin throwing up. I can sleep, but I basically have to throw up and then try to go to sleep as quickly as possible before I have to throw up again.
Should we end the episode?
Let me see.
Like shit's getting out of hand now.
I don't really see any. No, not really. We don't really have any more news. I do have one thing though. We're not experts.
But we were here.